Hello everybody, I'm here today to speak to you about one of the most, I think the smallest, but the most interesting and suggestive places in Italy. Its name is Civita di Bagnoregio, and it is located here about 120 kilometers north of Rome, very close to the lake Bolsena. Why is it famous? It is so famous because of its nickname, as it is called in Italian La città che muore. That means the dying town, the dying village, even though it is not properly a town, nor is it a village, because it is almost uninhabited. Wikipedia says it has only 11 inhabitants, but the real fact is that the town was abandoned over the years, and it can be considered a sort of ghost village, ghost town. So that's why it has this nickname, La città che muore, the dying town. The only people who live here are people who run restaurants or tourist shop, but if there are only 11, you can understand that there are really very, very few. The reason of this is the location of the village. It is on a hill, but the land is mainly composed of tuff and limestone. There are a lot of badlands and sort of gullies all over the area, and this way erosion due to wind or rain is unavoidable, and over the centuries it was a disaster, as you can imagine. A great part of the village collapsed, and some old churches, old buildings were lost forever, and there was nothing people could do. And in addition, in 1475, a very violent earthquake destroyed part of the settlement, so a very little part is left. And so now it looks like a sort of island surrounded by land instead of sea, and slumping and landslides are still very frequent, are still happening, and day by day, month by month, year by year, part of the old settlement collapses and is lost forever. Unfortunately, there is nothing we can do to protect the place, nearly nothing to protect the place. As you can see, Civita is on a hill surrounded by an eroded area, and the only way to reach the place is through this bridge, which is 300 meters long, and it is only pedestrian. Vehicles can't pass through the bridge, apart from vehicles who belong to people who work there. But anyhow, also the land where the bridge was built collapsed. In the last centuries, they calculated it collapsed by about 25 meters, so it is impressive. But anyway, despite everything, about 300, at least on average, about 3,000 tourists visit Civita di Bagnoregio every year, every day, not every year, 3,000 a day on average, and it is quite a big number. So the number of tourists is quite high because it is really interesting. It is a sort of unicum. We don't have anything like this in Italy. And walking across the bridge, we arrive at the so-called Porta di Santa Maria, St. Mary's Gate. This is the gate, and it still has, but they're not very visible, 2 lions on both sides, and these lions are stepping on tyrants, just to symbolize the inhabitants' wish of freedom, because they wanted to be free from maybe from the Pope's power, and so the two lions are stepping on tyrants. This little settlement, I show you some pictures. This is the gate, the high part of the gate. There is a lot of rubble, as you can see, but some buildings and some streets are still quite well preserved. And I can show you some buildings. This one, for example, is very well preserved. And the settlement was founded by the Etruscans some centuries before Christ, but the architecture and the structure of the village is medieval. It belongs to the Middle Ages and the early Renaissance. So if you walk across if you walk along the paths, the little roads, the squares, the buildings, you can really breathe the medieval atmosphere. There is a square, the main square. This is the main square with stalls, maybe for tourists. In the main square there is the church of St. Donato with a very high bell tower which dominates the village. I remember that to enter the place you have to pay a little fee, about €5, just to try to protect the place somewhere. But anyhow, this is a bell tower again, but anyhow, the best place to have a full view of the village of Civita di Bagnoregio is this one where I am, a sort of panoramic location where you can see the whole landscape and have an idea of what it really is. Anyhow, this is all I wanted to show you. I hope it was interesting and you enjoyed it, and see you soon. Bye bye.